Welcome to this week's edition of Sun News Blazer Beat. I'm Zoe Hansen.
And I'm Troy Grimmond. Thanks for tuning in.
The Utah Tech women's soccer team officially ended conference play and claimed their spot in the WAC tournament. The Trailblazers will kick off tournament play against Grand Canyon University Wednesday. The last matchup was on the 1st, and the game ended in a 1-1 draw. This will be an eventful first match with no home advantage for either team, as they will play on the championship field in Seattle, Washington. The men's soccer team win streak has snapped as they fell in an away game versus California Baptist University, 1-2. The Lancers produced more offensive attempts, having double the amount of shots than the Blazers, and 3 more free kicks. For the Blazers offense, AJ Ciampini had 4 shots and played the entire match, with 2 of those shots being on goal. Stockton Shore also had 7 saves in the game. The Blazers have got a WAC showdown against Seattle University today at the Greater Zion Stadium.
No surprise here as Brianna Gillen has been awarded the WAC preseason award. Gillen boasts an impressive resume over her 5-year career with the Blazers. Notable awards, including a first-team all-WAC selection, Utah Tech third all-time leading scorer, and the school's career assist leader. Last year, Gillen took second of the WAC scoring list, averaging 18 points per game, and alone at the top of the assist category, averaging 6 assists per game. Gillen and the Blazers are ready to make an impact for this electric 2023 campaign. Gillen says, "It's not worrying about the preseason honor, it's worrying about our team goal. What can I do to play within our system to help us get to our team goal and be on the top?" So, Brianna Gillen, arguably, I think, is going to be way more big of an impact for this team than both the twins coming back off their injuries.
Her and the other 2 seniors this year, Emily and Maggie, I think they're going to be really good leaders this year. 2 of them are 5th years, and then the other one is a redshirt senior. I think they're all going to have a huge impact, and they're going to have a great season.
What I like about Gillen is that she leads the top of the assist category, and the most important part of the game of basketball is to be able to move the rock, get your players more chips, get them points. It builds team chemistry, and it helps you win games. Well,
they know if any of them pass it to another player, they know they're going to make a good shot out of it. So we're excited. After the break, we'll be back with an interview with freshman wide receiver Bo Sparks and predictions for the homecoming football game this Saturday.
It's official. Dixie State University is now Utah Tech University. Our Polytechnic focus combines active learning with career readiness in all of our 250 programs. As one of the fastest growing, most affordable, and safest universities in the country, Utah Tech was recently ranked as a top 10 arts and science college. So, join us and experience the difference at Utah Tech University.
It's Utah Tech's dynamic duo, junior quarterback Kobe Tracy and freshman wide receiver Bo Sparks earned this week's UAC honors. After losing by just a point against Northern Alabama last weekend, Tracy threw his career high of 397 yards and 3 touchdowns. On the receiving end, Sparks caught 8 of Tracy's passes, including 2 touchdowns in the 4th. Tracy is named the co-offensive player of the week, and for the 2nd time, Sparks is the UAC Freshman of the Week. Up next is the homecoming game, where this dynamic duo will attempt to pull off a win against Eastern Kentucky this Saturday at the Greater Zion Stadium.
This week, I got to sit down with the rookie sensation Bo Sparks and got an in-depth look on what makes him an ace in the hole for the Blazers. All right, so I've sat down here with Bo Sparks, the freshman phenom here for Utah Tech. Bo, what do you think you got to attribute yourself to your success this season?
I just think it started in the offseason, just working with Coach Craig over the offseason to get in shape, get stronger, faster, and all my receivers and all my teammates just getting better every day.
And what kind of sets you different from everyone else in the WAC conference, all the freshmen, sophomores, juniors, senior receivers? I mean, you have such a big ceiling ahead of you. You have such a bright future. How do you attain that?
I just think it starts not only on the field but off the field. Every week I sit down and watch extra film with all the receivers and just make sure I'm prepared every week to go out there and do my best.
Right on. Also, football is kind of like a team sport, obviously. The locker room culture is a big thing. Is there any sort of veteran player that's kind of guided you in the right direction, kind of been a catalyst for this season?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, my receivers, Ricky Johnson, obviously, Michael Moten, Keith Davis, all those dudes have kind of guided me in the right direction. That's who I surround myself with, people like that, just to like a good role model for me and just to get me better.
Any specific role model for you out of those four?
Probably Ricky the most, yeah. because I'm always with Ricky. Ricky's always shown me what to do because Ricky's a veteran.
Most experience.
Yeah, and he helps me a lot.
A lot of tools of the trade.
Yes, sir.
Also, big ceiling ahead of you. There's probably so much room to improve on. Is there anything in your game that you want to improve on going forward?
Honestly, yeah, everything. I mean, right now I'm trying to just figuring out everything I could do, but over the offseason for sure, work on everything, routes, all that stuff.
Gotcha. Thank you so much, Bo.
Yeah, no
Glad
problem.
to hear you on the show.
Thank you.
Bo Sparks is one of the only freshmen that start on our Utah Tech football team. So I think it's really cool that he has a role model like Ricky Johnson to look up to, because Ricky Johnson is a great player on our team. I think having that role model is going to be great for him as a freshman leading into the next few years.
Well, also, you can't really overlook Ricky Johnson and what he's done for the team this season. I mean, it's all about this Bo Sparks, Kobe Tracy duo, this freshman-junior connection. But Ricky Johnson, 528 receiving yards, averaging 13.9 yards per reception. I mean, he's balling out this season. He's leading the team in reception yards, which is crazy.
And not only that, but so we have Ricky Johnson, but we also have Ronnie Walker Jr. and Keith Davis, who were named the 2023 Comeback Player of the Year. I think that's a really cool accomplishment for those two. And then also a few weeks ago, Dondi Fuller, the UAC Defensive Player of the Week. So we have really, really strong players.
Well, I mean, we've kind of seen they've come together. They had a big one against Northern Arizona University, and they started off 1-0 in WAC play against SFA. This team is starting to finally come together and find their groove coming into this homecoming game.
Definitely. I think that's a big thing coming into this homecoming game. They're going to have great stands. They're going to need to pull it together.
I mean, if you look at the results of the games this season, like Montana State University and Montana, I mean, they lost by 40 points in the Montana game, and then just got absolutely smoked by Montana State. And that was our home opener and our season opener.
Montana was our
opener.
Yeah. So Montana State, we lost 20-63. Like you said, they lost by 40 points, which is crazy. And then against Montana, they lost 43-13. So those were significant losses.
Well, and then they seemingly bounce back and they play Northern Arizona University and they win 50-36. But then they take a step back to square one, and they go to Missouri State, and they get absolutely smoked by Missouri State, 59-14.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a lot of ups and downs this season, but at least after losing those two, they didn't get discouraged, but they came back up and took another win. But they need to have a consistent win streak. But like I said, they've done better than last season.
I mean, it seems like they got the opposite, though. They go to Colorado State, and they lose 41-20. But honestly, if you think about it, this Colorado State team went to Colorado Boulder, a Deion Sanders-led coach team, and they took them to overtime, almost beat them. So keeping that game within 3 touchdowns, I feel like is a good place to be at going in for the rest of the season, going into Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah, and the last game against North Alabama, the Blazers were just short by a point. That's it, just a point. So they're so close, but, it's that 1 point that makes the difference. They still lost the game.
Well, there's a lot of factors going into it, too, because they weren't at home, number one. The home game is going to be super lively against Eastern Kentucky. Number two, you don't know about that Alabama weather. I mean, it could throw some players off easily, take some people out of their element.
I agree. I think the weather here is really tough for a lot of players to come and play against us. It's tough.
But now we head into Eastern Kentucky. It's a 4-7 overall record and 2-2 in the conference.
We are, yeah. The Utah Tech teams, 4-7 overall, 2-2 in conference. Let's talk a little bit more about Eastern Kentucky.
So Eastern Kentucky, they're an offensive scheme team. I mean, their team lets up 36 points per game, so their defense is not very strong. But our defense hasn't held a team under 4 touchdowns the entire season. So what I'm looking for is a high-powered offensive game. And another cool thing is that if you look at the stat sheets, offensive-wise, we're pretty much neck and neck. Kobe Tracy and Parker McKinney both have 1,682 yards for Tracy and 1,681 yards for McKinney.
Yeah, they are very, very similar, and they both earned the same awards this last week. So I think that's kind of crazy to compare those two quarterbacks.
Well, I think we're going to come away with this game solely because our offense, we're very high-powered. We like to drive the ball down. We have 2 dynamic receivers in Ricky Johnson and Bo Sparks. And number 2, we're at home. Homecoming game. This is huge for our players. So my prediction is that it's going to be
a 42-35 win for Utah Tech.
I agree. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that. I'm going to say they win. I think they're going to win by 3, but I also think it's going to be a high-scoring game, so I'm going to say 47-44.
And that's it for this week's edition of Sun News Blazer Beat. Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you here next week, same time, same place. Have a great week, Trailblazers.